Good morning. Welcome to today's video. I wanted to share some of my favorites in the month of May. I'm filming this a little bit late. It's June 3rd. I'm kind of hoping to get this video out today. We'll see, hopefully tomorrow. Sorry for it being a little bit late. I probably should have filmed this at the end of May, but here we are. I'm very excited to share. I love talking about things that I love, so I'm excited that I get to share it with you. First thing that I wanted to share are my favorite YouTubers. I actually found one of my favorite YouTubers. I actually found both of these ladies out this month, which is exciting. I feel like I don't often find new YouTubers that I really love, but my YouTube algorithm has really been treating me well. So my first one, her name is Jalissa Rose. I actually found her out today, this morning, and she's immediately one of my all-time favorite YouTubers. I watched a video of hers. She was cleaning out her vanity, like the top of her vanity, and it was just such a beautiful video. I think that she's a very beautiful person and her content is amazing. She also had this video that I watched, and it was about the art of a tea tray, I think, and it was incredible and so inspiring. I've actually had both like a bed tray and a little like a brass teapot on my to buy list. I've been hunting for them whenever I go vintage shopping, and watching her video just made me so much more excited about them. I might even stop by like a vintage store this weekend and really try and find one. But yeah, I love her videos. They're amazing. They are a lot about what I love, kind of like slower living, and she does it in such a beautiful way. So I highly recommend you checking her out if you don't know her. Also on the topic of slow living is Noah Maria. She is a European YouTuber. She lives in Europe. I'm pretty sure that she's living in Denmark right now, but she just makes such beautiful videos. She kind of does more like vloggy type videos. She'll do some sit down videos, but she does a lot of vlogs, and her content's just so calming and inspiring too. I lived in Europe for about 6 months, and watching her videos always makes me want to go back so badly. I highly recommend her as well. She also had really gotten me into sketching, which is something that I'll talk about a little bit more. But any YouTuber that inspires me to do more art or live slowly is always one of my favorites. I weirdly watched a lot of movies this month, which I feel like isn't really like me. I watched 9. One thing about me is I always feel like I want to watch more movies, and then I'm not like a cinema girly, but I guess I locked in this month. I don't know why. Actually, I do know why. I think I had a kind of a rough month last month, so watching movies has just really comforted me. My number one all-time favorite comfort movie that I did watch this month was Bridesmaids. I love this movie. It's not a cinematic masterpiece, but it is just hilarious and a movie about female friendships and girls. So I love it. I watch it multiple times a year, every year. And I always have to rate it 5 stars. I also, one of my all-time favorite movies, I think this is probably my second favorite movie of all time, is Lady Bird. Also watched it last month. It's amazing. I don't usually cry at it. I also don't usually cry at movies, but this rewatch had me absolutely sobbing. Greta Gerwig is amazing, and just the movie is so well done. I recommend it to every single person. I actually got a new movie on my top movie list, Sinners. I watched it in theaters with my partner. I went in blind. It was incredible. There was a Letterboxd review that said something like, this is the type of movie that makes you remember why you love watching movies, or this is the type of movie that makes you fall back in love with watching movies. That's how I felt about it. It was so well done. It was beautiful. I think it's technically a horror movie, but it wasn't really that scary. It definitely was creepy, and I don't want to spoil it because I went into it blind, but it definitely was creepy, but I wouldn't say, I don't know, I'm such a wimp, and I also don't like horror movies at all, but I loved it, and I highly, highly recommend it. I also watched Booksmart for the first time, which I feel like I'm not the biggest fan of satirical movies. It kind of reminded me of Bottoms, which I'm so sorry, I didn't love it. But Booksmart, I watched it on a night where I was kind of having a rough night, and I, at multiple points was laughing out loud, which I feel like I never do with movies, especially when I'm alone and sober. But at multiple points of watching this movie, I was cracking up. I think it was Olivia Wilde's directorial debut, don't quote me on that, but she did such a good job. And it kind of reminded me of Bottoms a little bit, but I thought it was a lot better. It was just freaking hilarious. And then I also, of course, loved watching the Hunger Games movies. I'm currently reading the series, so I read the first, second, and third book last month. I think I rated like the first book 4 stars, the second book 5 stars, which I never do, but I thought that the second book was incredible. And then I rated the third book like 3 stars. I think I would have done 3.5. I didn't love it. I kind of didn't understand the ending that much, but I think I liked all the books better than the movies, which is kind of how it goes. But yeah, I loved reading a book kind of, and then also at the same time like rewatching/watching the movies. I had only seen, I think, the first and second one, but I loved kind of doing them both. It made me very like inspired to read. Like every day I was like, okay, I want to pick up my book, and then right when I finished the book, I'm like, I have to go watch the movie now. It really got me out of a reading slump. It's also really, really fun, so I highly recommend watching like a book that also has a movie adaptation, especially if it's a series, because it's just so fun. I also have been reading The Creative Act for a couple months, actually. I haven't gotten very far. I just haven't like taken time to really sit down and like read it. I feel like really commit to finishing it. I really want to finish this in June, but it's so amazing. I'll definitely talk about it more as I read it more, but this has been one of my favorites. And something that goes with it is I've been using my little commonplace book, and I want to make a whole video about journaling. I'm gonna do that soon. I'm very excited for it. But basically I've been like taking notes as I've been reading, and it's just been a lot more like thoughtful way to read and I guess like consume media. So highly recommend both A Commonplace Book and The Creative Act. Both amazing. I wanted to share some of the books that are on my TBR list. I don't know how many books I'm going to finish next month because I do have both of the newest Hunger Games books. I have Ballad of Songbird and Snakes and Sunrise on the Reaping. Currently reading Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, kind of a mouthful to say. And then, of course, I'm going to read Sunrise on the Reaping next and then watch the movie as well. So I don't know how many other books I'm going to read in June, but the highest books on my TBR are Alice in Wonderland and Almond. I don't know much about Almond. I know Alice in Wonderland, of course, and it just seems like such a beautiful book. I never have read classics and am not one that, I don't know, I feel like I'm not confident in my ability to read classics, but I'm going to try it. It seems like a really, really amazing book. And then Almond, I don't know anything about. These are actually books that Noah Maria has recommended that I found on her YouTube channel, but she rated them really highly, so I'm excited to pick them up. I also really want to read The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Clearly, I love reading books with film adaptations as well. Adaptations. I love reading books with film adaptations. You know what I'm trying to say. I love doing that. So Perks of Being a Wallflower, also Noah Maria recommended it, and she was saying it was incredible, so I definitely want to read it. Yeah, so I'm going to read those after my Hunger Games series finishes, and then after that, I'm dying to read the Thorn of Glass and Fourth Wing series. I've only read ACOTAR, which I feel like is kind of in that fantasy world, and ACOTAR just kind of I loved it, but it just consumed like months and months of my life. So since I'm reading Hunger Games series, I want to take a break and read some like shorter standalone books for a little bit. And then I think I'm gonna do Fourth Wing because it's a little bit shorter. I think I'm gonna like dive back into the fantasy world. It just is kind of all consuming, but I love it. But it's like as I'm reading a series, I don't really want to like read a bunch of books in between because I feel like once I'm in the fantasy world, I kind of want to stay in it, if that makes sense. But yeah, those will hopefully be my summer reads. I hope to finish all of those books for sure by the end of the summer, but I'll keep you guys updated. Some of my favorite little hobbies have, of course, been journaling. I was actually looking at my journaling and I realized I'm using it right now, but I realized I like finished 75% of it and I got this journal in January. So clearly journaling has been one of my number one favorites. I talked about kind of like whenever I travel, putting little postcards and kind of doing like a scrapbooky like junk journal type vibe in my journals. I love it. I talked about it in my last video and I will probably talk about it again when I make a video about journaling. This is also something I've talked about, but an absolute favorite for this month has been the sticker book. It's so fun to do with journaling. It really inspires me to journal too. I highly recommend these. They just have such beautiful stickers and I don't know, what's not to love? And then I mentioned this earlier, but sketching has been my favorite little hobby this month. I have never been one to sketch before, but I've been really trying to get into it. I've actually been using Skillshare. I have been finding like YouTubers that are sponsored by Skillshare, and then they always offer like 1 month free trials. So that's what I'm using right now, a little free trial, but I actually really like it. I took like some classes on sketching. I did a little class on like urban greenery, which has been really cool. And then also one on how to draw cats that I did with my partner. They're not great, but it's really fun to try something new and challenge myself. Yeah, I've just been loving like sitting down with a cup of tea and watching like a little tutorial how to sketch and just trying it out. Also, you don't even need to pay for it. Like there's so many videos on YouTube that are really incredible as well. But yeah, that's been one of my favorites this month. I wanted to go into a little bit more of like products and things that I bought. I really didn't buy that much. I don't buy things very much often. I pretty much, whenever I do buy things, they're all secondhand. But for the first time in, I think, genuinely like 3 years, I bought something like firsthand, which I never do. It was from a small business. I'm not gonna, okay, sorry if the audio got a little bit worse. I want to show you this dress. It's from the brand Kors. Yeah, they're a small business. I think that they're based in Australia, and oh my gosh, I've been obsessed with maxi dresses. I bought a couple, or another one in Vancouver that I showed in my last video, but this dress is so beautiful. It's called the Frankie midi dress, I think. I highly recommend. It is such amazing quality, and like, again, small business. It's like ethically made and just amazing. I think it's so perfect for the summer, and I've been wearing this a lot recently. Also something that I bought, I have been needing like a new product to style my hair. I was using a mousse for a while, but it just made my hair really crunchy. But I saw somebody recommend this Odele. I'm not sure how to pronounce the name, but this is the air dry styler. It does, like, I don't know what my hair texture is. I always say that it's just textured. It's kind of wavy. Sometimes it's kind of curly. Right now it's just voluminous. I don't know, but this does my hair very well. I really like it. I also like how it's like an air dry styler, so I don't need to use heat with it, but it's been making my wash days and like my hair days look a lot better. I got 2 new beauty products. I only buy products whenever I run out of my other products, if that makes sense. So I ran out of my blush, and I bought the Rhode Pocket Blush, and I actually really like it. I got the color Sleepy Girl. It is just like a beautiful, like, darker pinky color. It's almost a little bit like brownish as well. I think it looks really great with my skin tone. I'm a cream blush girl. Like, I don't usually buy like powder blush. I just prefer cream. I feel like they never last very long, but I think that this one lasts a pretty decent amount of time. I really like it. I think that it's worth the price. I love the color, and I think that it just looks really nice on the skin. And then my roommate actually gave me this. She works at Ulta, and she gave it to me for free. Again, I ran out of my highlighter, and she gave me the Charlotte Tilbury like beauty wand. I've been using like the blush for a long time, but I've never tried the highlighter, and I really like it. I'm like a bright highlighter girl. Like, if I wear highlighter, I want the people down the street to be able to see it. And I really like this. I think it's really beautiful. It blends into the skin really well. I highly recommend. Yeah, I think that was all that I wanted to talk about today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you got at least some inspiration on not just things to buy, but maybe some other ways to spend your time or some YouTubers to support. But thank you so much for watching. Bye.